Yeah,
I like to have for the covers.
Okay.
So I always try and shoot some digital. We've got 12 pictures left, and I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
With this.
Okay.
All right. Good. Now, is your next interview? They just walk in the door.
You just walked in.
You know, I've talked to people who are even upset that you're running, but you know, they're party insiders. Are you a Democratic Party outsider in Alabama, even though you watch the Super Bowl at the White House?
Some of the insiders down here are very upset for the reasons I just described. The people I just described a minute ago are some of the party insiders. Some of them, candidly, just have this mindset that they can't believe white voters in Alabama would do this. Well, I can't do anything about that other than winning. If I run the right campaign, I win the nomination. When I win the nomination, I trust those people will be on my side because I trust they would rather see a Democratic governor who believes in the values we Democrats have as opposed to a Republican who may have a very different set of principles for this state.
There's some people who are saying, why give up what you've achieved in Washington? You watched the Super Bowl at the White House. Why not be in D.C.?
Back if I was governor too. I don't think you discriminate against me if I was governor.
Why not be in D.C., especially right now when you have this new Democratic president who has this very ambitious agenda? You're very close to him. Why take the risk of giving up that for something that you may or may not win a year from now?
By definition, you have to be prepared to lose if you run for higher office. Harold Ford and I had that talk off the House floor back in 2004.
And you've lost once before.
Sure, absolutely. And I think because I've lost once and lived to tell, the worst thing in the world to me is not losing an election. The worst thing in the world to me is if you believe something, you believe you can make a difference, and you let other people's fears move you off of what you want to do. Being in the House, as I said at the podium today, being in the House has been a wonderful honor, and I truly mean that. And I will always cherish the 8 years that I got to spend serving the people of the 7th District. But I got in politics because I wanted to change Alabama, and I wanted to be part of a group of people leading Alabama to a different place. This is an opportunity with this open seat to take my vision and my values for the state back home.
Let's talk a little bit about your message that you're going to be taking on this campaign. How do you convince someone who voted for John McCain in this last election that they need to vote for you for governor?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say to them, what I've been saying to them, is the fact that we disagree on some issues doesn't mean that we don't share a lot of common ground and mutual respect on a lot of other issues. I'm going to make the point to voters around the state that, look, if you're looking for a 100% liberal Democrat who agrees with liberal Democrats and everything, I'll tell you right now, it's not me. If you're looking for a 100% conservative Republican who agrees with you and everything, that's obviously not me. I'm in the middle. And everybody I know, up to and including my own wife and mother, have a different opinion than me on some major issue. That's okay. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to run an ideological campaign. So the third thing that I would say to people who voted for John McCain is I think that the challenges facing the next governor just aren't ideological. Bob Riley teaches us that lesson every day. First discussion we had today was about Governor Riley's moving past ideology and party to support a stimulus that he needs to make his budget work. A governor routinely faces challenges like that. When you're just a politician out there on the stump, who cares about how prisoners are treated? There's no constituency for prisoners, but when you're a governor and you're facing court orders and the state could get hit with massive sanctions that drain resources if prisons aren't managed a certain way, well, the governor all of a sudden has to think about prisoners, you know.
Right.
And I could go on and on. There are all kinds of things a governor has to wrestle with that teach you that ideology is not the day in, day out driver of political decisions. And I'm going to be making that point to conservative voters.
You brought up a major issue in your speech today, Constitution reform. That's a tall order. We saw Governor Riley coming into his term in office. You know, he picked up tax reform and nearly hung himself with it. What's the challenges of bringing up an issue? Is that going to be your signature issue, or why did you mention that today?
Let me tell you why Governor Riley in part failed at achieving tax reform. Because not only did he not talk about it during his campaign, he denounced the idea of it. it's very hard to denounce an idea and then turn around and endorse it once you become governor. That's what Amendment 1 proves to me. So I've drawn this lesson. Talk during the campaign about things you hope to do as governor. And I believe we need a new constitution. I'm not going to hide that under the bushel. I'm going to talk about it in this campaign. Now, I've got to make it relevant to people. It's not just that we need a new constitution because we want to have a pretty new document as opposed to an old archaic document. It's because there are practical limitations in the Constitution. Right now, the state of Alabama can't commit to funding transit in Mobile or Jefferson County because of our Constitution. Right now, Jefferson County can't solve its sewer debt problem on its own because of Alabama's Constitution. Right now, we have to vote on local ordinances affecting small counties around the state, all of us statewide, because of our Constitution. Right now, we have a tax structure that we're stuck with that our legislature can't reassess because of our Constitution. So there are practical problems with our Constitution, and I think that we need a new one. So I'm going to support it. Will it be the dominant issue in the campaign? I doubt that. Will it be an issue that we talk about? Yes, it will.
Any question I haven't asked that you'd like to answer?
I would say one question that you asked that I didn't answer was what I see the next campaign being like beyond the atmospherics. I think that on the Democratic side we have an opportunity to have a good, respectful race because I have an enormous amount of regard for Jim Folsom. I think he was a good governor of the limited period of time that he was governor. I like him a great deal as an individual, like Marcia Folsom a great deal. And I believe that we can have a good campaign where we talk about the issues. I think people will find that Jim and I agree on a lot more things than we disagree on. And I think, frankly, either one of us would make a good governor of this state. It's my belief as of today. If Jim and I have too bitter a struggle, Republicans are going to win this thing. It's as simple as that. So both of us have every incentive to run this campaign, to run our respective campaigns in a way where our mutual respect for each other is the dominant value in the campaign. That's an important point.
Now, you were downstairs today, he was upstairs.
Yeah.
Some people said that wasn't an accident.
It was all the greatest coincidences usually are accidents, and this one was. I had no idea, and my staff had no idea that Jim was speaking there until a blogger called us. That's when we learned about it. There is no tactical reason whatsoever that we would have had our event at the same time. Actually, to the contrary, we would have wanted to not do it at the same time to get some people who came out to see him to have a chance to come to our event. We certainly weren't going to change it after the facts. That would have been too confusing. But there would have been no reason for us to time our event to coincide with his. I didn't even know the downtown Democrats met at the same time, and so I said Jim was going to be there. And I'll point out that nobody's asked me about the fact that apparently the county Republicans were also upstairs meeting at the same time. I wasn't aware of that either. I did run into a few, though, and a few of them didn't look that friendly. Right.